The 5 a.m. standard. Discipline is a choice, it's not a trait. So, discipline, it's not genetic. It's chosen every single day. When you lead yourself first, you earn the right to lead others. This is a lie we've been sold. So, let me tell you the biggest lie most professionals believe about success. Some people are just built differently. That's what they say when they see someone else winning. It's what they say when they see someone who's been up before sunrise. That's what they say when they see someone who's dominating the market and when they see someone who's showing up relentlessly. They shrug it off like it's just in in the person's DNA. But here's the reality. Discipline discipline is not a trait. Discipline is not a talent. Discipline, it's not an inheritance. It's a damn choice. Every single day, you make the choice to either be disciplined or not. And no time exposes that choice more clearly than 5 a.m. 5 a.m. is not about the time. It's about the standard. There's a power to standards. So as I've said before, and I will say it again, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your standards. And most people's standards, frankly, are trash. Let's just call it what it is. They set their alarms based on how they feel the night before. They prospect based on comfort. They show up only when they're motivated. And discipline is what happens when motivation doesn't show up. I want you to write this down. I don't negotiate with my standards. I enforce them. The 5 a.m. standard is the ultimate test of identity, not because it's early, but because it's when no one is watching you. There's no one there to give you applause. There's no pats on the back. There's no Instagram likes. It's just you versus you. There is a NEPQ, neuro emotional persuasion questioning connection. You can't move others if you don't move yourself. Now let's get into the NEPQ. Um, it's the new era of persuasion and questioning. You know, you want to lead others. You want to guide your clients to decisions. Then you better have learned how to guide yourself. NEPQ, it isn't about slick scripts. It's about emotional control. It's about being the calm in the storm when others are simply chaotic. And it's about asking questions that go 3 layers deep because you earned that composure by training while others were sleeping. You can't teach self-awareness if you haven't trained in solitude. You can't lead with empathy if you haven't sat in your own silence. The 5 a.m. standard, it gives you that edge. It gives you mental clarity. It gives you emotional resilience. And it gives you tactical preparation. That's what your competitors are missing while they sleep in and just ease into the day. You know, discipline is forged in chaos. So let's talk about what discipline really is. It's not waking up early. It's staying consistent when life gets messy. Your kids get sick, you still show up. You don't feel like working out, you still move your body and get your ass to the gym. Deals fall apart, you still hit your prospecting block. You know, the weak, they wait until conditions are perfect. The strong, they execute in the chaos. So let me say that again. The weak wait until conditions are perfect. The strong execute in the chaos. Discipline doesn't thrive in comfort. Discipline is forged in discomfort. And 5 a.m. is just a simulation of pressure. You know, it says, even if nothing goes right today, I've won that first battle. And that confidence, that presence, your clients feel that. That's why they follow you. Not because you talk loud, but because you walk solid. You are the standard for everyone around you. You want your team to rise? Then raise your standards. You want your spouse, you want your kids, you want your coworkers, your peers to respect you? Live in a way that makes them say, damn, they don't miss it. You know? You cannot be inconsistent in private, but expect to be respected in public. Discipline is contagious. So is apathy. So I want you to ask yourself, are you the fire that lights people up? Or the excuse that they use to stay small? You know, your schedule is a mirror. Your calendar is your character. You know, be the agent, be the leader, be the human whose name equals reliability. Because this world is full of a bunch of loudmouths and weak habits. You know, the market, it doesn't reward the loud, it rewards the discipline. How many times have you heard me say that? Here's how you install the 5 a.m. standard. Let's get practical. Here's how to hardwire your discipline. Declare your non-negotiables. That's the first thing. You need to declare them. Declare your wake-up time. Declare your workout schedule. Declare your prospecting time block, your follow-up time block, and your professional education and personal growth time blocks. Write them down. Post them. Live them. You know, every time you break one, you weaken your identity. And every time you follow through, you become unstoppable. You need to number two, stack the wins before the world even wakes up. You know, start your day in control. You know, journal some gratitudes. Yeah. Review your pipeline. Role play those objection handling scripts and move your body. Read some 10 pages, 15 pages. And you just created momentum before most people even hit the snooze button. Number 3, use NEPQ, the neuro emotional persuasion questions, on yourself. Ask yourself, what's the consequence if I keep avoiding the discomfort? What belief do I have that's making me sabotage my potential? And what would my ideal self be doing right now? The person who questions themselves powerfully leads others effortlessly. Burn your backup plan. Burn plan B. You don't need it. If you have a backup plan, you'll default to it. So I'm going to close with this. Every time you choose comfort over commitment, you reinforce that weaker version of you. The 5 a.m. standard, it's not about waking up early. It's about showing up powerfully and with intent. It's about choosing to lead when no one claps, when no one's watching, and when no one cares. Discipline, it's not a gift that you were born with. It's a war that you choose to win every single day. So decide. Are you going to live by default? Or will you choose to live by a standard? Because there's two types of professionals: the ones who talk about goals and the ones who train at 5 a.m. and exceed them. Peace.